Awesome. Welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Kescha Wilson, and I am the CEO of Design Her Queendom, where I help high-achieving women reprioritize themselves while managing the demands of career and the responsibilities of home. And tonight, I want you to help me welcome my guest and author friend, Tanisha Portier, to the community. Hi, Tanisha.
Hey, Kesha, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to be on your platform this evening.
Awesome. I'm so excited. And I'm so just thrilled to have you here talking about the topic that we're going to discuss tonight. And so let me tell you a little bit about Tanisha. So she is an author, a speaker, actress, voiceover artist, spiritual intuitive, vegan chef, and creator of The Fruit and Veggie Mama, which is a global traveling and entertaining company designed for promoting plant-based and vegan food in a fun, non-traditional, creative, and interactive way. Now, she is a promoter of self-care and inner confidence. Tanisha is a meditation coach and facilitator, and she specializes in multiple passionate, holistic practitioner, and she is a life coach. She is committed to helping people reach their highest level of self and live a healthy, holistic, and empowered life. If that's not enough to tell you
who that is,
totally qualified, right? Totally qualified to speak on this topic. So I am super excited, right?
Oh, wow. Kesha, listen to that introduction. I'm like, that's huge. Now, how do I follow up with all of that? Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, Tanisha, tell me how you got here, leveraging what you love. How did you know that this was a topic, something that we need to discuss for such a time as this?
Kesha, I think the introduction of the multiple things that you've mentioned actually got me to this point where I am in life. And the reason why I think it's so important to talk about leveraging what we love is because we live in a world where we are, trained to do what's right, what's, what we our day-to-day jobs and things like that. And sometimes we don't always have the love for them, but it's the things that we need to do. And when I found out my passions and the things that I really loved, I was like, oh, I like this and I can find a way to get paid for it. And so when I tapped into one talent, it led to another and another and another. And so that's when I started to just say, hey, these are things that I can actually maximize and profit from them.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So the thing that made me want to like sit down and have this conversation with you is that we talked about before that I work with high achieving women who are reprioritizing themselves because they live such personally and professionally demanding lives, right? So women in my community, they do this, but during the course of them managing all that they do, their roles and responsibilities, they can often like squeeze out prioritizing themselves and the things that they love. And so what do you have to say to a woman who has maybe forgotten or become disconnected from her natural gifts and talents?
Yeah, so that's a really, really great question. And I can just say, I wrote some notes down here because I wanted to make sure that I touched on a couple of things. Okay. And, for the woman that has really kind of drifted away from her natural gifts and talents, it's almost a part of life. It's something that we all go through. We know that when we're a child, when we're little, there's some things that we love to do, and then life happens. You get a job, go to school, you take care of business, and you become that person that you need to be, that society has called us to be. And in all of that goodness, we forget about ourselves, our first love, and so when that happens, I like to say that we have to get back to the map. And what I use that as a map as an acronym is because when we're in such a high demand where we need to do the things that are necessary, because those are all important, but to kind of squeeze back in the things that we like, we have to make sure that when we are getting back to that point, we take care of our mental health, our physical health, and the M is for the mental health. The A is for, oh, I wrote it all here. The A is for the abilities to achieve the personal goals and the abilities. And then the P is for the physical health. And then the S is for the satisfaction in life. That's to live the passion and purpose. And so when we stray away from those things, we start to, lose that satisfaction in life. And so either we're pissed off or we're going to live in passion and purpose. And so the thing is that when we come back to that, for the ladies that have kind of strayed away, the way we come back is we want to make sure that we can try to map ourselves back by figuring out our mental health first. What do we really love? What are the things that we like to do? Blend it in and harmonize, because I don't like to say balance, but I like to say harmonize. And then think about the abilities, think about the natural things that we are able to do, that we're able to achieve, that are easy. And then take our physical self into consideration, because when we're not doing what we want to do, ladies, we kind of get down into a funk and we kind of forget about ourselves, and the little things start to drop off. So we want to be mindful of that. And so when we can get those things back together, then we can start to live that satisfaction and say, oh, I remember the last time that I had, a wonderful time doing this. It was such, a beautiful experience. I want to get back to more of what I love. I feel alive when I'm doing it. I feel passionate. And so you now begin to live in that passion and that purpose again. So mapping yourself back to that is really going to be important.
I love that. I love mapping back to yourself and mapping back to what you love. I love that. So is there such a thing as too much of a good thing? Right? Where your natural gifts and talents and you've been utilizing them. However, what was once like a superpower has become kryptonite. So how do you rekindle that passion and self again, say after burnout?
Okay, so I like that two-part question. So the first part, is there, really such thing as, too much of a good thing? Well, here's the thing. When you think about a good thing, I like to say there's always two parts of this. There's nothing too good to happen. There's nothing too good to come true. And there's nothing too good to last. So the good thing about having those natural gifts and talents is they were given to you for a purpose, and it's supposed to be utilized. Now, when it's too much of a good thing is when we overuse. That means that we're using our talents in a way that we get exhausted. So we're working, trying to make it, but we're exhausting ourselves because we don't have a strategic plan. And so we are giving our talents here, giving our talents there. And a lot of people love your talent until they have to pay for it. And so you get exhausted and you're like, oh my gosh, I have this speaking engagement here. And, and I like my coach, Jasmine Womack, she had mentioned that, when we use our gifts and our talents, but the thing is we have to know how to leverage it, because if we don't, we'll end up getting fruit baskets and a $25 gift certificate. And you've spent all this time trying to do that good thing to tell people how good you are with your gifts and talents. And you get rewarded with, just something very simple. And you're like, man, I know that, I put more time and effort in that. So we have to make sure that we're strategic when we are leveraging our gifts and our talents, and that when we utilize those, we are maximizing those to the ability that we're able to gain and earn income, so that we don't feel burnt out, so we don't feel like we're going in circles again. Now, for that two-part question is how that burnout starts. That burnout can actually happen again with that direction. So when we're trying to do too many things at one time. So, and I always say you can have it all, but not all at one time. So you can't spin every plate, you can't bounce every ball. So as an artist, and as a chef, and as, all of these things that I was like, oh, I can do this. Oh, wait a minute, now let me do this. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me pull it back. Let me pull it back. Just because you're so gifted and talented, it's almost like, okay, step back, figure out the one or two things that you're really, really good at. Focus on that, and then bring it down to one, because we really want to focus on that one thing, because you can get burnt out trying to do so many other things at one time, or that one thing and then a lot of other things that are really pulling at you and you're saying yes to too many things. So doing that one thing, focusing on that, scaling it up, that means refining your gifts and your talents, working on them, getting better at it, spending hours and hours studying, researching what can you do best to be to be an expert in your field. And that way you're creating a momentum and you're not getting burnt out because you're learning. And if you're learning, you're growing. And if you're growing, then you really don't have time to get burnt out, because then you are actually getting the knowledge that can't be taken away.
I like that. I like that. And so when we talk about utilizing your superpowers, right? And these are these natural gifts and talents that you have, but what happens when, or how do you know when it's time to redirect them? So you've been utilizing them and everybody is enjoying the talents, you're enjoying what you do, but then it comes a time, how do you know when to redirect your natural gifts and talents to another endeavor or venture?
Yes, that's a really great question, Kesha. And it's almost like life stages. Okay. So when we're younger, right? So maybe, I enjoyed in high school. I did a lot of competitions in high school and things like that, where I was oratorical speaking, and it was great. Now, that was a part of my life. That was a part of my chapter where I was able to do that. Now I'm at a different stage in my life. And as I grow, I shift that into something else. So now from the competitions, I'm not doing that, but I can still speak. Maybe I can still have conversations. Maybe we can still have discussions, interviews, and different things like that, where you kind of learn how to change the path so that you can transmute those things to something different, but you're still utilizing those gifts and talents, is just in a different way. So at every stage of our life, we change every 10 years. And so with that change, a lot of our gifts necessarily, they go into different directions. Now, it doesn't mean that you lose that gift. You begin to know that, okay, I can add this here, or I can shift that, or maybe I need to rebrand in some areas. And it's okay to change up on some things, because in life, because of our experiences and things that we've learned and things that we've, come to understand, it helps us to refine what we're doing. And so, I'm not saying, one day you are an architect and then you become an astronaut. What I'm saying is, if you are, that architect, maybe you start to design, from houses, and then you start to do other things within, an industry that calls for that. So it's almost like a change in patterns, but you're still on the line, along the lines of the same thing.
I love that, because I know someone that I follow, she was an architect, and then she started this huge brand, and it started out as a t-shirt company, and it's called Mess in a Bottle. And she's now this global brand, and she decided to utilize her passion for those types of things in another way. So I love that you brought it out as you can be an architect, but you can utilize those skills in other ways. So I love that.
Yes.
So I know there are going to be people in the comments that may be just talking to us or just wanting to know, because I know that people have a lot of limiting beliefs surrounding creating a business around your natural gifts and talents, right? Because a lot of us may have been raised or molded or encouraged to go to the traditional workforce and do it a certain way, the American dream way.
American dream.
So, yes. So, how do you encourage, or what do you have to say to the people that may think that it may not pay well, it's not sustainable, or it's not considered responsible? What have been the benefits of you showing up in this way to really leveraging your gifts and talents?
Definitely. Okay, so I'm going to go back and get at the first question that you raised. So the thing that I can say is, surrounding the limiting beliefs, it's very interesting, because again, as you mentioned, that we were raised in a certain way, or, it's important that, we do the American dream. We get the 4-year degree. We go, buy a home, get the 2 dogs, the house, the marriage. That's the American dream, and everybody loves it. But the thing right now is that there's a shift, and the pandemic has explained to us, it has demonstrated to us that now it's not, this is the new normal. We're not going back to the way that it used to be. And so the limiting beliefs are there, but now it's causing for a shift. And so there's a rise in consciousness where people all around, there's a survey that says that people during this pandemic, while they have been at home, have actually had time to think about what it is that they really, really want to do in life. And is their jobs really serving their passion and their purpose? Do they feel fulfilled? And so when we think about limiting beliefs, it's not that someone told them, hey, look, you're limiting belief. It's that they've had the time now to sit down to themselves, and no one's telling them this, with that quiet time. They've had time to think, man, I've been on this job for 25 years, 15 years, 3 months. And, I feel like now, I've been home now. I'm not an essential worker. And so all of these things that, that I've been told to do, it's like nothing's guaranteed. I have to figure out, I have to cut and crush these limiting beliefs if I have them, and figure out how I am going to leverage what I love. How can I make a living? Now, how can I bet on myself? Now, how can I make this happen? Because no one's going to do it but me, because I can apply for this job. And if another pandemic happens, if something else happens, where is it going to put me? So now people are saying, people are rising, people are waking up. They're saying, I may not know what it is I want to do, but I know that I'm not living my full passion. I'm not living my full potential. And I want to figure that out. And I want to go to that. And I want more of that in life. And so when people are doing that now, they're waking up and they're rising. They're saying, you know what? Businesses are starting all around the world. Women are blossoming in businesses. People are starting home-based businesses. Everyone is saying, I've got to do something from home. If we've been locked down for a year and a half, 2 years, I've got to figure out how I'm going to make income from home. So the question now is, Kescha, how can I leverage what I'm doing at the comfort of my home, in my favorite chair, at the pool, in the kitchen, in the backyard, talking to a friend, using my computer and my phone? What am I going to do now to put food on the table, to live the lifestyle that I want? I don't necessarily think that the people are looking for, the stability. There is the great resignation that's happening. And I know, and I totally believe in jobs. I totally believe in employment, and I know now that people are wanting more in life. And that's the question. And so it's not to take away from anything. It's to have that harmony and that balance. So even if you're still working, even if you still have your job, try to find that balance, that harmonizing, where you can still do what you love at the comfort of your home, maximize it, and crush those beliefs, because you're worth it.
Yes. So ladies and gentlemen who are watching, let me know in the comments, have you made the shift? Have you made the shift during this pandemic in the last couple of years of doing what comes natural to you, utilizing your natural gifts and talents? And let me know, what questions do you have around how to leverage what you love, if you haven't quite yet? If that's something that you desire to do, let me know in the comments what it is that questions that you have around leveraging your natural gifts and talents. And if you have already, let me know in the comments how it's going. Okay. All right. So you're incredibly creative and passionate about what you do. So you apply that creativity and passion to a broad array of very different things very well. You do it very well. So for those of us that are multi-passionate individuals, how do you, and you touched on a little bit of this, suggest harnessing and directing it in a way that fosters like this growth without burning out?
Yes. And I really like that question, because it takes a little bit of a deeper dive. And the way that it harnesses, sometimes we may have an idea of what we want to do, but because we have been in the mainstream for so long, we haven't really tapped into ourselves. We haven't really had a chance to tap into our natural gifts and talents. Now, again, this pandemic has allowed us to ask the question. It allows us to get the wheels turning, but to be able to harness that, sometimes we may need, number one, coaching. We may need someone to pull that out of us. And I am 100% on board for, I have coaches, I have mentors, I have friends. And I know that if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you go with a group of people in counseling. And even the most famous book in the world says to get counseling, with all that get understanding, because we know that we have these gifts, we have these talents, but in order to harness those, it's like sometimes people see things in us that we may not be able to see. And so we're digging in, we're thinking that it's this hard, difficult thing. And we want to impress everybody so they can think, okay, I'm going to be this X, Y, and Z, profession. And everybody's going to say, oh, wow, that's a good gift. That's a good talent. But in reality, that is really not what you want to do, but it sounds good on paper, right? It sounds good on a resume. And it sounds good when you say it. When you can put all those letters behind your name and all of those different things, it's wonderful. I am totally for it. But it's natural. It's natural. And to be able to harness what you love has to become like breathing. So if you can just take a deep breath and exhale. Was that hard for you to do, Kesha?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't hard at all. And so what is inside of you is very easy to do. It's almost like the way on the back of your hand. You can do it while you're sleeping. The late, great Miles Monroe said that God has given gifts to every single one of us. And the thing is that people are looking in the future and saying, maybe one day I'll go on this long journey and I'll figure out myself. I'll fly here. I'll do this. I'll get this. Or, maybe it was in my past, because, if I would have did what I said I was going to do, if I, would have did this and not that, maybe I missed my calling. No. He said, God put your gifts inside of you so that it's not in front of you, nor it's not behind you, but it's inside of you so you can't miss it. So in order for you to harness it, you have to go from the inside out. You have to get quiet. You might have to meditate a little bit, and you might have to get coaching so that they can pull those natural gifts and talents out of you. And it's just like anyone, when you're going to get a little more help and training, you also have fitness coaches, right? Because they want to make sure that they're getting to their highest and greatest version of themselves, right? People are going to, if you're going to get a makeover done, you're going to see experts. You're going to see people that know what they're doing and how to do that. So sometimes you're going to have to take that step and say, I know what it is, but if someone can help me to pull this, to harness it out of me so that I can actually spell this out, so that I can live a life of purpose and passion and make it make sense, then I'm on board.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Now that was a good preaching, right?
I
love it. Yes. So you're very high powered, right? High energy, high power. How do you stay connected to yourself and stay fueled from the inside out to live and work true to who you are?
Infinite intelligence, number one. That's the Most High God. I stay connected to the highest vibrations. I make it my business to vibrate on the highest level. So when life happens, I have cliches. I'm on autopilot. My mind is set. I have the mind of Christ. I stay connected. And I know that it's not 100%, I'm not 100, but I make it my business to know that life happens, things are going to come. But if I don't fix my mind and have fixed flint focus, then it's easy for me to fall on the wayside. It's easy for me because I've had too many times in my life that I have gotten so far and then gotten to so many things and then got off track. It's easy to do. And so I don't have time. And we don't have time like we think we have time to do. And so I'm living at a life where it's an urgency right now. I know who I am. I am a global innovator for the 21st century. I know, feel, see, say, touch, taste, believe that I'm here to create, that I'm here to cultivate my natural gifts and talents by first starting and helping and healing myself, my family, and then the world. So if I know this, and this is my life mission, then I have to stay connected. I have to stay grounded, and I have to be purposeful with my mindset. And you win and you lose in your mind. And so every day is not going to be easy. We're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have challenges. It's going to be hard. Sometimes you're going to cry. Sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you want to throw in the towel. But then you have to think about your why. And so that helps me connect with who I am. And the other part of it is because I just like to be my creative self. I like acting, singing, dancing, writing, just being authentic and true to who I am. Because I think I used to tap dance. I used to do all the yes, and I used to be that person where I wasn't fulfilled because I had to play a role that wasn't me. I had to do a lot of, things that I really wasn't, that I enjoyed, but it wasn't me. I wasn't passionate about. And so what I had to do is I had to find my passion within the things that I did. And so that's how I stay connected, even in the situations or the jobs or things like that. I would find something that I really, really loved. And then I would pretend as if this was my stage, as if this was what I was here to do. And so that's how I guided and lived my life, is a life with passion and purpose, because I knew as a little child what I was here to do and to help people. And so I just try to stay divinely connected. I pray, and I try to stay in the highest vibration at all times. And I know life happens. And so I'm here for it, to stay connected.
What would be one tip that you would give to someone who is in that place right now, that they feel, disconnected, that they may not be quite in the vein of their highest vibration, like you said, or connected to the one most true high God? What advice, what one tip could you say that could help them get back on track?
Okay. Well, spiritually, God is no respecter of person. So if you tap into who you are and your natural gifts and talents and what you are created to be, it's automatically going to lead you back to your true self, to that highest vibration, to the connecting, because there's no other way, because that manual, that information is going to be downloaded, and you're going to see like, oh my gosh, is this what I'm supposed to do? This is something else that I'm good at. You're going to be able to feel that fire. But before all of that, why you're down and why you're out and why you're like, man, everybody's talking about these gifts and talents and your purpose, and I don't know what my purpose is. I want you to know it's okay. I want you to know that you don't have to know everything. Just because you hear me talking this and, oh, well, she got it together but what about me? I don't want you to think that you missed it or that it's not going to happen. It just takes a little bit of time. It takes just tuning into yourself. And that doesn't have to be, oh no, it don't have to be, it's just sit down and be quiet and go somewhere and sit in a chair and just reminisce on what it is that you love doing when you were a child. Instantly, your favorite thing, if you can just take a second to just that, the best feeling that you've ever had, that you've done, or even the last 10 years, the last 5 years that you've done, that gave you life, that gave you passion, that gave you joy, that gave you emotion for living. If you can do that, that will instantly raise your vibration. That will instantly say, man, you know what? If I could just do that again, man, if I didn't have, this to worry about, then I can do it. But I'll tell you another thing. I'll tell you real quick. If we think about it, if someone told you today, this one thing that I'm going to take away from you, that you will never, ever, ever be able to do again in your life, and I tell you, you can't do it for anything, you will come quick and say, oh, wait a minute. Now you can take this, and that. But if you take this thing, I don't know what I'm going to do.
You know what? I started feeling something draining from my body when you were saying that.
You hear what I'm saying? You
Right.
see what I'm saying, Kesha?
Yes.
If I take that one thing, because you're like, okay, that I can do, but it is you say, well, hold on, oh wait, not that one, not at least not that one. And when you get real clarity, you get real centered, and you get closer, because just like everything else, you start to cut out. Like, and that should have cut out like the 20 things you was thinking about that you really don't even like. You really don't even like. You just think, you know what I'm saying? And then you're getting a little bit closer.
Tell the people again, because that is actually really good. I love that.
Yes.
Tell them again.
Yes. If
they're thinking about 10, 15, 20 things, tell us again, if you have 10, 15, 20 things on your plate that you're considering as the path to go, then what? Then
you get more clarity, because all of this other stuff that's on your plate is not working. And if you can get those 10 and 15 things cleared off your plate, and then if you can really hone in and focus, and if somebody tell you real quick that I'm going to take the main thing that you really like away, that 20 will go down to 2. That 20 will go, and then you'll start to really think, okay, is this or that? You can get with this, or you can get, I'm telling you, it's not that hard. It's really, really not that hard. It's just now, once you start to get in alignment, okay, I think I was good at this. Somebody told me that I was really, really good. When I make these cookies, or when I speak, or when I create this content, or when I get into the room with these people, they say that I really, do research really good. Well, this is the thing. It's that the things that people tell you too are hints. See, we have to be listening. We have to tune in and get turned on to who we are. And you hear it. You'll hear it from a stranger. Oh man, you look really nice. The way you put that together, how you are really organizing this, and you hear it. And then it'll become a chain effect. You're like, so-and-so told me this too. You know what? They said this, but I really didn't take it in. My pastor said, my boss at work said, if I really, put in work. And so you start to add those things up. You say, well, maybe I am good at this. Well, let me give it a try. And so then that funk, that fog, begins to dissipate. And so you start to, gain that clarity. You start to say, okay, I'm getting closer and closer. Remember, this is not a race, but it's just getting you back to who you are originally, why you were created. Mm-hmm. And so to maximize and to hone in and to use your talents and your natural gifts and abilities, that's your birthright. That's mm-hmm. why you're here. Yeah. That's why you were created. Speak on it. Yes, you can do the job, but listen, we were given work. We were given work, and that's to work our gifts and our talents mm-hmm. and abilities. That means the same thing that you do on the job. It's amazing. It's wonderful. You should be applauded for it. Now, can we do that same thing in our gifts? Can we get can we get a degree in our natural gifts? Can we study? Can we research? Can we become experts in that field? Can we dig in deep and dive in and figure out how we can help? Because we're created to solve a problem. And when we can solve a problem and a well-being solution for others, that's when the money comes in. That's when they'll say, how much? Mm. That's when they'll say, we want to invite you here. That's when those things start to happen. Mm-hmm. And so it just takes a little bit of guidance, a little bit of inner work, and a little bit of crushing those self-limiting beliefs to mm-hmm. get to the highest version of yourself and tap into those natural gifts and talents. And you're worth it. You're worth it.
I love that. And somebody says, I believe it's Valerie says, it definitely feels like a trail of breadcrumbs if you just lean in and listen. Wow, I love that. I see you, Anita. I see you, DeBlair. I see you, Shar. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, absolutely. I love that. So tell me in the comments, what is it that is your natural gifts and talents? What do you love? What do you love? And then we'll talk to Tanisha. Tell us, what do you love? What do you love?
I absolutely love my speaking, teaching. Yes. Acting, health, and entertainment is just, it's ingrained in me. It's in me. So anything where it comes to edutaining
Yes.
and speaking and connecting with people
Mhm.
is just, it's in plant-based cooking is what I do. It comes so natural to me that, I feel like I'm always like on 10. It doesn't even feel
Yes.
like work. Like, I was the other day, if Blair's on here, it was just yesterday, and I was doing a plant-based um, food show for the group, and it's amazing. I'm so grateful that she allowed me to be a part of her group and to present. And I'm up here cooking and talking, hey, this is what you do, and this is, and I'm like, yo, look, I think I'm on TV, and we're on a live Zoom. They're like, you are on TV. I'm like, I know. So it's just things that I love to do. Is just natural. Like I said, ever since I grew up,
Mhm.
what I used to do is, when I was a little girl, I had a tape recorder, and I would take this tape recorder and I would record myself and doing all these different voices. And so I would, and I had that tape back in the day. I'm telling my age. And so back in the day, I would just press this tape, and I would talk, oh, darling, and go over there and get the paper that we need. And then I would turn, darling, hit it, go over there. I would just do all these. I would put it together, and then I would push play, and I would let my family hear. And I was like, oh, Tanisha, do another one, do another. I'm like, okay, next, and so then from there I would just write plays and just do anything. So anything with entertainment and education, and just being my natural self, and
Yeah.
and loving it is what I love to do. And and so I have just embraced that, and truly it took a little bit of time, but I've just really embraced that. And so it's what I love.
So that just brought up something for me. So you said that you embrace that. So what can you tell the person who may have been like shamed growing up about their natural gifts and talents or what they love?
Mhm.
And they're afraid, or they may discard or discount it now in adulthood, and they want to maybe reconnect with that, or at least cultivate it in somehow. So what would you have to say to the person to help them now embrace it, if it was something that they weren't able to embrace growing up?
Yes. And so if it's something that you weren't able to embrace growing up, or if it's something that you loved and you just kind of drifted away, the thing is that we have to remember that when we have an assignment, when
Mhm.
we have a dream, when we have something that's deep inside of us, it is given to us.
Yeah.
And that means that Regina, Stacy, Marvin, and Jeff didn't get that same dream. They
Mhm.
didn't get that same passion. They didn't get that same And so when they start to talk you out of it, it's not their fault necessarily. There's a book that says the 4 agreements. It says
Yeah.
take nothing personal. You
Personal.
can't take it personal because they didn't do it. They'll try to talk you out of it. And so maybe that's what they've learned. That's what has been inside of them. You can't let a dream killer kill your dream. You can't let someone hold you back just because they can't see it for you. As a matter of fact, it's okay if they can't see it for you, as long as you can endure that weeping for a night, because you know that if you stay consistent, you know that if you believe it in yourself and you surround yourself with people that have the same mindset, that's going to be important. And listen, if you can't physically surround yourself with those people, you better get some mentor. Let me tell you, Les Brown is my mentor, and he's just on TV. And I say he's my mentor. Lisa Nichols, listen, I have all ET. I have all kind of mentors. I call them my best friends. I said, look, when we go, what are we doing? Listen, it's
Okay.
okay. I surround myself. I tell myself that these people are coaching me, they're teaching me, and I take whatever I can. I read. I love to read. I love to listen, audio, whatever it is, because I have to continue to fill my mind. Because if people are, let me give you an example. The other day, and I was on 10, happy, and this and that. Well, some people very close to me, I started to share some things that I was doing. They were like, why are you doing that? Like, that don't make that, you don't know. All you need to do is start off here, because you don't need to be, you doing too much. Like, they don't take all of that. You
Mhm.
know, like you should have did that when you were young. When you were younger, that would have worked. But you too old now. You just need to get it. And I got in my feelings. I got all tear almost came down. Almost. I said, hold up. There's no way I had to snap back so quick. I had to say, listen, and it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best because we're continuing to learn. And so my coach said, well, what was that limiting belief? Because I had to go back in, and it was something that it touched that I said, okay, what do I need more work in? Because the higher and higher you go, the more and more and more of the criticism that you're going to get, the more and more of the people say, look, you should have did it this way. Like, why are you doing it? And you're going to get a lot of this. Okay. As soon as you get to where you're going, people are going to bring up stuff from 1997. And they're going to say, look, I remember when you was, I know you ain't, and so it's going to all come back up. So that mindset is going to be so important.
Yeah.
To stick with what you're doing, and just to believe in yourself, to trust in God, and to stay connected to people, even if they're not in your physical circle, even if you don't have the people that you can call your friends, and the people that when you do, you better qualify them. You better qualify them real quick, because you have to know who's really for you and who's acting as if they're for you and really not, because it's going to be important so that you can get to your next level. And remember, even the people that are not cheering you on, they are your biggest supporters too, because they are the ones that you need to show them that you can do it, even though they don't think you can.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And everybody, DeBlair said it was so good. Meaning the teaching you were doing, like in the group, the cooking. She said it was so good. And Valerie said, you are for sure at home with speaking and teaching. Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you.
DeBlair said, yay!
What? Oh, my daddy told me.
Yes. She was like, you preaching tonight. You preaching, girl.
Oh, thank you.
So awesome. Yes.
I'm in my genius.
Yes. So what have you learned about your top 3 natural gifts and talents?
Yes. So what I have learned about my natural gifts and talents is that I have to stay refining them. So it doesn't matter that I have these talents if I don't refine them. Number one. Number 2, I have to expose these talents. I have to put them out for people to see, because it doesn't matter if I have a light and I hold it at the end of the, at the bottom of the table. Like, it doesn't matter if the sun is shining on the side of the street, if you're going to walk under a cloud, it doesn't matter. So if I don't show those gifts to the world, how are you going to know? How is anyone going to know? How are these gifts going to be given?
Listen. And so, you better slow down. Talk slow, girl. Yes. Talk really slow, because this is really important.
So I have to make sure that I am showcasing my natural gifts and talents every time I get a chance. I don't have a TV. And I don't watch TV. I watch TV very rarely. And let me tell you why. One of it, because my dad never really wanted us to watch TV, because we were always working on our natural gifts and talents. And it didn't matter because we were always active. But another thing, Miles Monroe, late great Miles Monroe, said, I don't watch TV because if I do, then I'll never be on it. And so I make it my business. Not that I want to necessarily be famous, but I want to be known for what I do. And so if I'm spending my time watching every red moon, I'll watch a show, right? But I don't spend my time watching because I want to be an influence. I want to be a positive impact. And it's not that I have to have all this fame and glory. I just want to be in my sphere, in my industry. I want to help others in a genuine and real way. And the third thing is that it doesn't matter who you are, because it's not necessarily that people like you. It's not necessarily people like you, they like your gift. So whenever you get too high on your horse, it's not you that they like, it's the gift that you are able to give. So with those 3 things that we have to really, really understand is that when you see people walk into the room and their gift, like when you see someone walking in the room, like, who is that? Where do they come from? You don't know them. You don't necessarily like them, but you know it's something about their gift. So that is what I mean. Don't think that I've never liked to think that I'm so high, that I'm so good at this. It's not me. It's my gift that puts me in rooms, that opens up doors that nobody else can close.
Yes.
And so that is what I honestly believe are my 3 things that I learned about my God-given gifts and talents.
You know, I've not heard it quite put that way. That it's not you that people are attracted to, it's your gift. Wow,
Yes.
that's pretty powerful. I've never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's something that I gotta chew on. That's really interesting.
Yes.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's one piece of lasting advice that you would like to share with our audience?
Have fun. Listen, I'm a person that loves to be easy with yourself while you're on this journey. Because you asked a question, Kesha, and you said, what about the people that are feeling like, they haven't got there yet? They're not for sure. They're kind of close, but they're doing what they think everybody wants, or they don't believe in themselves yet. They're not there yet. And see, life is supposed to be easy. Meaning with ease, when you start to tap into your natural gifts and talents. Kesha, we breathed together just a moment ago, right?
Yes.
Remember, can we take a breath again? In and out, right? It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be simple. And so we can't get hard on ourselves. We can't start to get down on ourselves. We can't start to really, really self-sabotage ourselves because we think that we don't have it all together. Or if people tell us we don't have it all together, or we don't look like what people think that we should look like. If we are gentle with ourselves, and if we are kind to ourselves, and we relax in the knowing that everything is going to be okay, God always says it's going to be all right. It's it's going to be okay. And so just knowing that if you don't have it today or tomorrow or next week, it's okay. It's coming. Why? Because the simple desire is there for you. The simple desire that you said, I want more. I want to know why I'm here. What are my natural gifts and talents? And what am I created to do? It's going to come to you. That you're attracting it. And the universe conspires to bring that to you. And so if you're patient, patience is a virtue. It's going to come. And it's not going to come with resistance. It's not going to come with you. I better know this. Let me write these 10 things down because I better choose. No, stop. Because just get off the call, right? Like, no. Like, no.
Talking to the tight bays. Come on.
Right. Do not. Like she said, no, don't say I said it. Just right. Just sleep on it. Pray, meditate, that whatever it is that you want to do. But again, Kesha, I want to say you might need extra boost. You might need coaching. You might need that assistance. And so that's where I can tell you that is going to really, really help you. If you're not at that point, get the support. It's okay.
Yes. So how can you talked about exposure? What does that look like? Tell us, how can we expose our natural gifts and talent? How can we expose those things?
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that look like?
Okay, well, exposing your natural gifts and talents, it depends on whatever area you're in. That can be right now, social media is a huge deal right now. That doesn't necessarily, now that things are opening back up, is really great. So you don't necessarily have to do social media for depending on what your avenue is. So if you're a painter, and you paint houses, maybe, or if you or doing something that necessarily doesn't mean that you're online all the time, you can make a mark offline just as well as on. You can do in-person workshops. You can, make phone calls. You can contact people to host an event. You can do different things where you can actually let people know, hey, by the way, I never really talked about this before, but I've started something new on my journey, and this is what I'm doing. I would love for you to come and just have a listening party, or, hey, I'm going to have something in my house. I'm going to cook something up. I'm going to have some pizza over, and I'm going to invite a couple of people. And I want you guys to hear, this is my next stage in life. This is what I'm going to do. Trusted friends, and also critique people that are going to critique you, that are going to give you some feedback. On social media, there's so many different platforms. There's IG, there's Instagram, there's YouTube. There's so many areas that you can start to do videos. You can start to do podcasting. You can start to do so many live streams that we're doing right now, do exposures. You can start to create Facebook groups or social media groups. There's so many things now that we can do, retreats and live things that can connect us, and not just down the street. You're in the East Coast. I'm in the Midwest. We are now connected worldwide. So,
Yeah.
And the thing is there's almost no excuse now. It's just the willingness to learn. One of the things I've heard is that it's the knowledge, the experience that you have. And then second, is most important, is the willingness to go out and expose yourself, to go out and knock the door, to go out and introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Tanisha. Let me introduce you for the first time. You're just getting to know me. This is who I am. And so you might have to reintroduce yourself to a couple of people, because remember, 1997, they're going to go back and say, well, you can't. But now you might have to change up your circles. Okay, you might have to get to know some new people. You might have to go to that country club. I don't know. You might have to go to some different workshops and networking events, just so that you can get around the crowd of people of the direction that you're going.
Yeah.
And that's how you can ultimately determine your success.
I love that. I love that. And just having these conversations, look how many people are on that you're exposing your gifts and talents right here, just having the conversation, because people can see that light from a mile away, right? So I'm very excited that you're here and you're able to share that. And I see where DeBlair says, your mind and skills are weapons. Come on, gifts.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that is very powerful. Yes, very powerful. You're so right, DeBlair. Yes. And so I know you have multiple things coming up. You're getting ready to launch your book, and so many other different things, right? That's coming out. Leverage what you love. And so tell us about what you're doing, how people can connect with you, and if they don't know their natural gifts or talents, or how to utilize them, how to expose them in a way that's natural and authentic to them, then you are the person to see. I call you the gifts guiding guru.
And I saw it. I was like, wait, what? Let me take that down. Like, I wrote that down. I said, okay, let me change my name.
Right.
I don't know about all that, but
I mean,
I was like, wow.
But yes, someone to help guide those gifts and help you excavate and uncover those ones that you can best utilize right now in this season. And so where can they connect with you? What do you have going on? Let the people know.
Yes. So thank you so much. So yes. So right now I am, like you said, I'm getting ready to be releasing a book coming up. Again, just leverage what you love. So basically a lot of what we talked about. And I am also now having my exclusive VIP day. So for individuals that are really ready to step in and to get that guidance, that fixed, pinpointed focus on what it is that they love, their natural gifts and talents, they can definitely connect with me. They can go straight, they can send an email. I'm going to send you all that information. They go to my website, TanishaPortier.com, or you can also email me. I can give you a direct message on there. I'll have podcasts coming out that also talks about leveraging what you love. And again, I do with my other pages where I teach people some of the things I love, which is a plant-based vegan food styles, which is on my page. It's the fruit, the letter N, the word veggie, mama on there. You can get all of the vegan and plant-based recipes that you love. There's interacting trainings, there's some teaching, there's a lot of great fun things on there that you can do. And then I'll be traveling. I do with some speaking engagements coming in October that I have coming up, and just a plethora of things that I'm just really working on. So I'm excited about.
We'll definitely put all of those in the comments. So if anybody wants to get in contact with you, if you you want to have a VIP day with Tanisha, as well as buy her upcoming book, you definitely want to go to her website, as well as follow her. Go ahead and follow her on all of the platforms. Name the platforms again, Tanisha.
Yes, so they can go to Facebook, and they can go to Tanisha Portier International on Facebook, and you can follow me there on my my professional page, as well as Fruit in the letter N, Veggie Mama, and that is on Facebook. Or you can go to my IG, and that is the Tanisha Portier.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. So I want to thank you so much for sharing with us. I've checked the comments to see if there were any questions, anything that you want to say. Blair is saying killed it. And that it was an awesome interview, and I share the same sentiments. I want to thank you personally for taking the time to share with my community, my platform, with your gifts, your natural gifts and talents. You have really blessed us tonight. I'm so excited for what you're launching out into the world, and all of the global impact that you're going to be making, and what you are currently making, because you are exposing those gifts to us and to everybody that you come in contact with. So I want to thank you for sharing that with us. And as for me, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, designherqueendom.com. As well, that's my website. And you can sign up for my upcoming book at designherqueendom.com, and go ahead and get on the wait list. It's going to be launching really soon. And so I want to thank you again. And where will your book be available for purchase? That's a comment from DeBlair. So let us.
Yeah. Thank you for asking. And I'm glad that it was the person that I want to thank DeBlair for, tuning in, and everyone else too. DeBlair is a mentor, a fitness mentor for me. So I'm so happy that she's here supporting. Yes. So I will be dropping all of that information very soon on my book launch, so that you can also get on the wait list when that happens. I'm super excited about it. I'm just finishing up a couple more details. And then since we are connected, you will be one of the first to know.
Absolutely. So, and we'll also put all that information in the chat for Tanisha, where you can connect with her as well. You can come back and view this at the replay at any time. And if you missed us live, make sure you let us know that you're watching the replay. And if you have any questions, and I'll definitely forward those and respond if I see them. And so again, I want to thank you, Tanisha, and I also want to thank our viewers for tuning in and being so engaged and helping us elevate this conversation. And so I'm so grateful.
Thank you. And I just want to tell you, Kescha, that I'm super honored, and I'm grateful that you'll allow me to come onto your platform, and all of our amazing conversations that we have, and the pick me ups, So you are incredible. You are phenomenal. And, you are definitely a high powered woman that is helping people with burnout. So thanks for all that you do. I'm sure that your work is highly appreciated.
All right. I thank you so much. So again, tune in and follow Tanisha on all of the platforms, as well as Fruit and Veggie Mama, and also Design Her Queendom. Follow us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, as well as Instagram. And you can also follow me, Kescha Wilson, on LinkedIn. Connect with me there. All right.
Awesome. Thank you,
everybody.
Okay.